Today we will start our journey from the Kubuchi Desert in China. A place that people once didn't just call a desert. They called it the Sea of Death. Because life here meant slowly disappearing. Every year, about 500,000 acres of land were silently buried under the sand. Fertile land was turning into a desert before our eyes. Plants were withering and people were forced to flee their homes. There was only sand waves and a burning wind all around. And a silence that meant that life here was losing the fight for survival. But the most terrifying thing was that this desert was not stopping. It was slowly spreading. Every year, about 500,000 acres of land were disappearing under the sand. Entire villages, agricultural lands, roads, everything was slowly being erased. And this process has a name, desertification. Simply put, where there was life before, only deserts gradually form, and Kubuchi was one of the biggest examples of this. At one time, this desert was spreading at such a speed that it seemed impossible to stop it, but China did not stop. They tried again and again to stop this desert. They planted trees, built sand control stations, launched big projects and invested billions of rupees. But this ocean of sand could not be stopped. No matter how hard they tried, it seemed that they were slowly losing this fight. Deserts have a terrible characteristic. Once it starts growing, it is very difficult to stop it. Just then, a man came up with an idea that everyone laughed at first. His name was Van Biao. He started a strange thing. He spent all his savings and took out loans and started a madness. He brought more than 100 bulldozers, 300 workers. The work continued for 18 hours a day. He started making small squares with dry bushes on the desert sand. And inside that square, he started planting willow trees. This tree is no ordinary tree. Its roots can go as deep as 300 feet into the ground to find water. This means that this tree can create an opportunity where no other tree can survive. But the problem does not end here. The strong winds of the desert are so strong that it is difficult for these new trees to survive. The wind blows away the sand and also dries out the little moisture in the soil, resulting in the trees dying before they can survive. So Wang used a new technique. He surrounded the area with bushes so that the wind could not hit them directly and the moisture could be retained inside. This small idea gradually started a big change. People were still laughing. This man is crazy. He is planting trees in the desert. But he did not stop. Not for a day or two. He did the same thing for several years. Slowly, some trees survived and some roots reached deep into the soil. The sand started to stop little by little. It seemed that the impossible was becoming possible little by little. But then another big problem came to the fore. To keep the trees alive, regular care is needed. The new branches have to be cut. Otherwise, the trees will not be strong, will not grow. And it is almost impossible to do this work in this vast desert. If you do it with humans, the cost will be skyrocketing. And it will take endless time. So who will do this work? Who will manage this entire system in such a large area with so much difficulty? And right here, suddenly the imagination takes a new turn, which no one could have ever imagined. A small animal, the rabbit, started doing the work that had become almost impossible to do with humans. A special breed of rabbit was brought here. The Rex rabbit. These rabbits are called white gold. Because their fur is so soft, so valuable that a good quality skin can be sold for up to $30. whereas it costs only $2 to raise a rabbit. That means a return of more than 15 times from one animal. But this is not the real story. The real story is hidden in their small habit. Rake's rabbits really like to eat the new and tender branches of the willow tree. And when these rabbits started eating the new branches of the tree, the main stem of the tree started to become thicker, stronger and more permanent. This means that the work that humans had to do repeatedly, cutting the branches and strengthening the tree, was done by these rabbits themselves with great ease. It doesn't end here. Another great contribution of these rabbits was their dung. It may sound strange, but their dung started to work as a very powerful natural fertilizer. Gradually, the dry and almost dead soil started to come back to life. There was another surprise. These rabbits ate grass. But they could not digest the grass seeds completely. As a result, the seeds would return to the soil through them. And after a few days, it was seen that where there was only sand before, grass slowly started to grow. A small cycle was created. Both nature and animals started working together. Gradually, the sand stopped. The moisture in the soil began to hold. The wind could no longer blow away the sand as before. And within a few years, the place that was once a dead desert slowly started to turn green. But it didn't end there. This change did not stop only in the environment. It spread to people's lives as well. Local people were encouraged to raise these rabbits. Every house started to turn into small farms. Rabbit hair started to be sold. Raw materials also started to come from trees. And people slowly started to earn an income. At one point, those who were fleeing from this desert started to return again. This process continued for years.